Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. And we are back higher than we were yesterday, Friday. Market is climbing today, seems to be climbing on some news slash hopes that a lot of the big tech companies are going to be relieved of the tariffs from China, and that's including Apple, Nvidia, big companies like that, where a lot of their production is based out of China. So we did get some news, I think Friday or Saturday, that they were going to be exempt certain products like cell phones, iPads, laptops, computers, things like that were going to be exempt from the tariffs. There was a post by Trump, I think on Sunday, that said that there was no announcement of exemptions, but then this morning there are articles confirming. Who knows, right? But the market seems to be doing pretty well on the hopes that there will be some kind of relief for a lot of these big tech companies, and so these tech stocks like Apple and Nvidia have been climbing this session so far, or today's market so far. The Asian and European session, Apple gained like over 5%, things like that. Nvidia had just announced a couple things here, a couple big things actually. Nvidia is going to be producing Blackwell chips in Phoenix, and then they're going to be producing supercomputers out of Texas. So that's a pretty big announcement. I think this is the first time NVIDIA's manufactured any of its products in the US. And now NVIDIA confirming that it will be using TSMC's chip plants in Phoenix, Arizona to manufacture Blackwell chips. And then in Texas, it's using who's manufacturing plants? Foxconn in Houston, um, in to build supercomputers. So that's good news, right? That's good news. It's more jobs here in the U.S. It's you know companies are finally starting to see the writing on the wall, I think, and are uh, in fact putting money into the US, investing into the US, which is exactly what Trump wanted. So, and Nvidia is a huge company. So hopefully we get some other companies to follow. Apple had mentioned that they would try to move a lot of their manufacturing over to India, which they've already started a couple of years ago. But it's nothing like what their manufacturing is out of China. And it would be quite expensive for them to move their manufacturing to the US. Be expensive for them or us, depending on where they. Oh, yeah, okay. Um, my parents, my mother and my grandmother are visiting from out of state, and she would like me to make her an espresso, but I'm busy right now, so we'll see if we can step away. Market, New York session opens in less than a minute here, and I most certainly am not walking away right now. So, Friday we ended with me trying to figure out some other options to make sure we're getting trades in, especially during very volatile times, right? And I'd stated that you gotta find some way to figure out how to keep trading safely and responsibly during times like these, where we're in very uncertain times with extreme volatility. Um, Unless you're already super successful and you can just take a month or two off. But, we had a couple suggestions from some followers and watchers to maybe trade different instruments. And so over the weekend, I said I would look into that and do some back testing, and look at some other instruments. And I've also reached out to some other people and got their opinion on whether or not I should expand what I'm trading, being where I am currently in my journey. And the majority consensus was to stick with one instrument until you become extremely uh, consistent. You should stick with one plan, one instrument, and get very, very consistent with that so that you have a base to fall back on. And I agree with that. So what I did was, um, I then went back and instead of trying to change instruments or look for different places to trade, I instead worked on my current strategy. And so I started to, because I'm getting close. I can feel it in my bones. I started to fine tune my strategy. And so that's what I did. That's what I spent the majority of my time doing over the weekend was fine tuning my strategy for the NASDAQ, for NQ, here in futures. And so moving forward, that's what I'm going to stick with. I don't want to look for, you know, answers elsewhere. I want to be able to get good at trading one instrument with one strategy, and become extremely consistent and profitable with that. And then I can start to expand from there, maybe expand the strategy or maybe expand to different instruments. But I want to focus on one thing because I know how this one thing works. Um, and I understand that we're in very volatile times with a ton of uncertainty and things like that. And yes, there would be other instruments out there that are a little bit safer to trade in, but they also don't um, work the same as far as you know particular strategies and whatnot. So I'd like to fine tune my strategy to a point where it becomes very consistent and profitable first, and then I can take uh, that base and then maybe put it into different instruments if need be. So that was my decision, and that's what I did over the weekend. I don't know what you guys think about that. If you have other opinions or whatever, leave it on in the comments. But that's where we're at. So we're back with the Nasdaq. We're going to be trading micros today, just because again we're still going to get some volatility, still a lot of uncertainty, even though there is a little bit of hype behind, possible relief for some of those reciprocal tariffs coming out of China for particular companies or, or products, whatever it is. So we've reached up to the high of the day, which was set right at market open last night for the Asian session. And you can see now we're starting to pull back a little bit. I've added a little bit of information to my charts and to my strategy using the volume profile here. But instead of using the current volume profile, um, I look at the previous day or last session volume profile, and set levels. And then I combine those levels with my strategy using liquidity to have a better confirmation of pivot points in the market, per se. And then you can fine tune those pivot points using the strategy that I've been using, which basically, hunts liquidity, and then you can um, get in and out of the market based on that. But to have levels to aim for in the first place is key, right? So using the volume profile, it gives you, the highs and lows of where the majority of the trading was done the previous day. And so I did some back testing with that, and just went back a couple weeks. I didn't go too far back, and set those volume profiles, and then set those particular highs and lows and whatnot of the trading range for the day, and then extended that into the next session, and then looked where the market was. And lo and behold, the market respects, um, on most days, respects those levels. I mean, those are levels that were agreed upon by buyers and sellers the previous day. So why wouldn't they, agree upon similar levels going into the next day? So, with a few exceptions, and today is actually one of them. Actually, I'll show you if we head over to the 15-minute chart. So you can see that, where are we here? Here we go. So you can see this was Friday, and I'm using just the New York session to set these levels because the New York session provides the most volume, the most liquidity in the market, right? So I just set a fixed um, volume profile from 9:30 to 4 o'clock. And then I take you have your 70% of your trades were done in this highlighted level. I mark out the high of the trading zone, the low, and then your control, where most of the volume, most of the trading was done for that day or for that session. And I mark those out and I bring those out into the current session. Now, of course, today we opened up a lot higher based on that news, and we've continued to rally here a little bit. Um, so, if anything, if we do end up coming back down here for some reason, you'd be using this high volume here or the control, seeing how it's on the higher end here, as a pivot point. So, if we do retrace and we do end up coming down, you might expect the price to pivot off of one of these areas and then head back up. In other days, you can, if you imagine drawing a line here and a line here, you can see where price pivoted off of those lines, even on a very volatile day like Friday was. You can see these pivot points here where you could have taken trades off of these that run all the way up to the next pivot point. So using these, and this works. I went back a couple weeks doing this, right? This was my back testing. And I would draw the lines in, and here's your control where you can see price moved around this point a lot. You can base your entries and your exits off of the volume profile from the previous day, previous New York session. Um, and again, it doesn't work all the time. In cases like today, it doesn't seem to be working, of course, because now I'm live with it, right? But for most cases, it works out pretty well. So this is not a, 100% we're going to base our trades just off of that. No, you look for those key levels, and then when price reaches those key levels, um, is when you start to look, you zoom in to your 1 minute chart or whatever, and you start to look for your liquidity around those key levels, and you get your entries and exits based off of that. So a little bit of fine tuning with my strategy, and hopefully as we continue to fine tune the strategy, we get closer and closer to having this well rounded, very dynamic um, trader discretion type strategy that works in all markets and hopefully down the road for all instruments. So that's that. And then you can use your current profile also to confirm those levels as well, right? If you're trading by, you basically what you're using the current session volume profile is just to identify areas of interest in trading. Okay, so clearly, so far today, we have two, three very decent areas of trading. Okay. And you can see here, actually, we could have gotten in here or taken a possible trade here based off of the main level so far. Here's our control. So this line here is where the most trades have been taken so far in what we can see here. And you can see how we also had liquidity here where price continued to get pushed down as we came to this area. Now, at the close of this candle here, it would have given you a wide stop, but you most certainly could have gotten in here, you know, and continue this move to the downside. Um, you could have actually gotten in here if you wanted to be a little more aggressive as price came up, got rejected, and continued this push down. Um, you know, you'd have to leave yourself some room, but it's a pretty decent tool here, and you have a range, right? Because everything is a range anyway. It's not a specific price. It's a range around the price, right? So you know that movement in this particular area, which matches the majority of trading here, is going to give you an idea of where price is going to go. And then just based off of your price action here, you definitely could have said, hey, this is probably going to fall a little bit more as it does that. So combining liquidity and your volume profile, which tells you where the trades are being done, that's pretty solid strategy, I think. So again, as we fine tune, so here we are coming down to another level here at the low end of the trading range, right? For today so far, you getting some pretty good bounce here. So we're either going to continue to bounce or we're going to get a candle that pushes through. We are sitting at the high end of the trading day so far, so I would be a little wary about getting in here because we have much more downside than we do upside, right? At least in the bigger picture. Doesn't mean that price won't, turn here, but so far we might be getting a little bit more selling pressure than we are buying pressure at these key levels here. And then when this key level breaks, get a little bit of a run. So, um, not a bad, not a bad strategy or tool, I would say, to use, as this is very dynamic, which I believe is what you need to be if you want to be a consistent trader for a long period of time, especially as markets evolve and change and go through their seasons. Now we're getting a pretty good reversal here. I might actually want to get in with, say even a single micro and then wait for confirmation and add to that position. We're just pushing too quick here. Actually, I think we might be switching directions. So quite a pullback here. So maybe what the plan is or what the idea is to wait for price to get to one of these other levels here and then give us a rejection. We might actually be switching here. This might be a good place to actually go short. So let's see if we can get some more liquidity confirmation here before we just tumble. And we may not get it. Price just moving pretty quick right now. So what we could do again is you go in with a single contract and then wait for price to confirm. And then we can always add to the position. Price just moving a little too quick right now. You can see our point of control changed. So majority of volume now is right around this area, which you can see, with price action here. Hmm. So you can see our nodes are shifting, and price looks like it might be attracted a little bit more to the downside. We still have a few um, decent nodes up top here, but we're still reaching to the upside. So I would like to see price actually hold this level here on one side or the other. Right now, we'll let it do its little back and forth business. A nice push there. Photo control switched again. I think I'm gonna try a single contract to the downside. Hmm. You just don't know which way the direction is gonna go here, honestly.
Order
I'm gonna
filled.
try one single micro to the downside, and then we'll add if we get confirmation. So we have liquidity here too, so we gotta be careful. Still can go in either direction. But we are getting pushed to the downside still. Mm.
Order
Let's go
filled.
ahead and close that out. Okay. Simple, small loss there. That's okay. I got in really, really tiny with a position because honestly, price could have gone either way here. So really, really small position, no big deal. It didn't really play out, so we'll wait. Yeah. As soon as we broke this high here, that was indication that the trade was invalid. So we get out as soon as we invalidate the trade, keep our losses tiny, and wait for a better opportunity to get back in. So it looks like buyers may still be in control today, and we may want to reach for higher highs. So the next plan would be to wait for price to give us an entry um, to buy and go long. We'll be targeting previous highs.
Order filled.
Mm, Might have gotten in too early there.
Order
No, let's
filled.
cut that. Too early there. Too early. Too early.
Order filled.
All right. Now let's take this back up to the top, huh? What do you think? Hmm. Very
Order
interesting.
filled.
Wow.
Order filled.
Let's give it one more shot here. Okay, we're just targeting the previous highs. And honestly, what I'll do is I'll probably just take the majority of the position off once we reach highs, and then leave a couple contracts on to run in case we run back to highs of the day. But we got to squeak past these levels here. And honestly, I could move stop loss up here because if we peek back below, it probably isn't going to work. So again, let's keep our losses small while taking our opportunities. Okay, there's a retest there. This looks really good if this can hang on. Retest, strong bounce, strong rejection off of our support level here. Come on, keep it up. Push, push. We should get a nice push out of this area now, hopefully. That was a nice retest and rejection there. And hopefully we can get a nice push up and out of this area here. That'll give us a little more confirmation. Uh, yeah, beautiful. So what we could do now is definitely move stop loss to break even, because if we do break below this previous wick here, probably not a good sign. So let's just cut our losses at that point. Still in the game here, looking for a nice strong push above. Beautiful. There we go. Let's keep pushing. Still looking good here. Definitely got some sellers coming in, though, that's for sure. See if the buyers can take out the sellers here. It's a risk-free trade right now, so if it does reverse on us, not a big deal. We break even.
Order filled.
Okay. So reach down to break even. And that's the thing, right? So as soon as we pushed past this reach here, I don't like the way it looks now. It could just be another retest, and that's fine, but you got to manage your risk, right? And I don't want that to just fall and then I'm losing out. So happy with the execution on that trade. You can see we continue to get pushed down here, though. So the trade doesn't look fabulous. I mean, we still could move up. We just got a lot of volatility here. So while we have this volatility, we try to mitigate our losses as much as possible. And that means moving your stop loss up to break even. Um, totally okay with that. No big deal. Can always look for the next opportunity. So getting a lot of volume in this area here. They're starting to look on the 15-minute chart a little bit more bearish than bullish. So we might not have made it up to those highs anyway, even if we didn't get stopped out. So, and again, if the trade's not moving quickly for me anyway, I'd rather get out than stay in. The longer you stay in, the more risk you take on. So we're having a difficult time passing these levels here. Yeah, might get a push through here. You can see this. We're starting to flatten out on the opposite ends of our trading range here. I'm starting to get this hump in the middle. And so this is turning out to be a sign that price, buyers and sellers are happy with where price is in this general area. Um, so we're starting to basically set up a range of trading. Unless we can break out one side or the other, right now it looks like we're setting up a range. So we're basically retesting the higher end of our volume profile here. Definitely have some liquidity in this area here that you can see. So let's see how price uses it. All right, nice push to the upside there. So we might be reaching for previous highs here. Yeah, pretty strong rejection here. Okay. And the buyers came in to save the day. Goodness gracious. You can see price definitely starting to slow down here. I feel like we're going to get a move one way or the other, and it'll be a decent move either to the upside or the downside, honestly. Can go either way. We got a lot of buyers coming in, holding price up. But we're at the same level where sellers have come in previously and pushed price back down. So that's why we're either going to get enough buyers to come in and push us through again, and then we'll head to the highs of the day, or uh, the sellers may be able to push price back down. Might be our rejection there. So our point of control may end up switching to this area here, somewhere around here. If we continue to consolidate here, you'll see the point of control move up here. Yeah, a little bit, little ways to go still, but last stretch here. We might push through. Told you we were going to get a move in one way or the other, but it was going to be a move. So couldn't quite squeeze through yet. Sellers coming in here in the last few seconds.
Order filled.
There we go. We should be getting a decent move now. Hopefully back up to previous highs here. Should be. Once we hit previous highs, I'm going to take 10 off. There we go. Let's get a boost. Come on, buyers. Let's show us what you got. So run up to previous highs here. We should be able to make that move up to previous highs. Come on, big push through. Let's go. Big push through. Let's go. There we go. Keep moving. There you go. Show us what you got. Just need one push through. One push. Come on. Give it up. Hmm. Come on, sellers. Give it up.
Order filled.
Didn't have enough. Mm. Struggle bus today. Yeah, we're heading back to the downside now.
Order filled.
Let's see if we can catch a little bit of it. Craziness. There's your point of control, like I said, was gonna move right up to that level. Alright, let's see a nice move to the downside here. To be honest with you, I don't know how much of a move we're gonna get. Still getting buyers coming in right here. Might not be good. Battle Royale here. Mm, don't know if I like this. Wow, price is
Order
holding.
filled.
Oh, okay. There goes that. Yeah, and then it's gonna do what I thought it was gonna do anyway. Ugh, goodness gracious. Well, this gives us confirmation, a little more confirmation to the downside anyway, but I got to see price come back up here. Once again, like we're setting up a very tight range here where the buyers and the sellers are pretty equal on both ends here. Oh, markets are closed on Friday for Good Friday. Is that for futures too? Look at this run right to the downside. Well, we couldn't quite make it. I should have taken profits up here because I saw this happening. Once we closed here, honestly, I should have closed the position. Where did I take that trade? I should be marking these out. I keep forgetting. Got in here. Stop was here. And we were looking for here. In hindsight, I can see the liquidity here too. I saw it. I saw it while it was happening, but as soon as this candle here, yeah, I mean, this is a tough one to catch, to be honest with you. That was a tough one to catch, but well, we pushed up pretty decently and then got shoved right back down. So honestly, on the turn of this candle would have been a good entry point to take this to the downside. All right, let's Let's see what we're getting here now. Pushed right back down to the other end of the range. Definitely setting up a range here for trading sideways, which is what I said earlier today. Although I was hoping we would be able to push through here. Point of control just moved again. So now we're basically back in the same situation that we were up here, right? Same situation. This time it was easier to come down though than it was to climb up. So who's in control here and who's going to continue pushing, right? The 15-minute chart looks bearish, but we're holding at the same level here. Well, we might get enough to push through. All right, we're aiming for our 19,000 area. So this is where buyers have stepped in before. So can buyers hold price up again? That is the question. You can see we had a really strong push down in here before too. Quick, quick move to the downside, but we held. But price couldn't fully recover here. So I'm wondering if we are going to get a push through these lows. We shall see. What I'm not seeing is price moving out of these lows as quick as it has previously. See if price bounces off of our control area. Might not even make it there. Price looks like a terrible place to go short. I'd have to see a break of our previous lows here in order to get in short. It's too risky. Way too many buyers sitting down here. So if price breaks below the previous lows here and then maintains that, then we can look for short positions. But I'd be careful for liquidity grab down here. Don't get in too soon. All right, there's your push below. Watch out for a reversal. Got a ton of volume coming in here. Hello, Paige. Yes, you are correct. The oranges are red and the blues are green. Okay, watch for your reversal now. We reached down to lows of the day from the Asian session. You might be getting your reversal here. It's not a very fast reversal, so this might not actually be a reversal. This might be just a normal pullback here, retesting these lows here. Sellers might have taken control here. Hmm. Keeps cutting out? Oh. Are you
Order filled.
all right? See if we can't catch some of this downside. So if we reach previous lows, I'll take 10 contracts off. I'll let 5 run. And then I'll move my stop loss to break even at the same time. All right, stop loss is at break even.
Order
Taking
filled.
10 contracts off. I'm going to ride the stop loss tight, actually. So we've secured profits. We're leaving 5 contracts to run if we do break below our lows. Here we go. Break the lows.
Order
All right,
filled.
closing the position there. So we made 1526 there. Nice trade. That was beautiful. If I didn't have to close that position early due to the consistency rule, I would have let this run all the way down to um, our support, which is where I believe we're headed. So if you take a look at the 15-minute chart, you can see price is headed right for the highs of Friday. And so if I was able to let that run, which I'll be able to do once I pass the challenge, that would be a very, very nice trading day. So beautiful. Up 1526 on the day with this account. That was a very well executed trade. Let me mark that out. Yes, it was the main account. So we are only $1,000 away from passing this challenge account. All right, that might be it for me today. That was a very nice trade. That's how I like the trades to go. Quickly, in and out. If they take too long, you're just exposing yourself to more risk. So, very nice trade. Very nice trade. Risky, but that was played out very nice. Okay, I'm going to be done for today. I'm not going to give back what I just gained, so we're going to stop trading for the day. And I will explain these trades in the recap video that'll be out later. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Link is in the description for the free Discord. We'll see you there, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning for the live session again. Stay green.